everybody. Can you hear me? Do I sound like I'm coming through my earbuds or do I sound like I'm coming in through the phone? I don't know what my sound's sounding like. There's no way I can do a mic check. I don't have anybody here with me. I feel like, let's see. I changed my setup, so I'm still not done with it. Thank you, Andrew Jacobs. I appreciate a super chat right off the bat is a good way to begin. I wanted to talk to you guys because I know that the Democrats are not taking it. I know that they're not taking it well right now, and I wish them peace is what I wish. And sometimes people would say um that the right didn't handle it the best the last time, but at least we got active. That's all I'm gonna say. It might have not been the most productive way to do it, but at least everybody got out there and got some fresh air. Is all I'm saying. But when it comes to the way that it's gone down, um, I really feel like the Democrats don't understand how much they have themselves to blame. Because what I want to talk to you guys a little bit about, yeah, and thank you for reminding me right there in the comment. For anybody that's not familiar, this is Ty Rivera. My name is Ty Rivera. I'm the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. And so here's the thing, I was 100% Obama supporter twice, both times. I was down for Obama. And it was during Obama's second term that I really began to realize that people on the left just didn't have a sense of humor about anything. And it was because I was going to this premiere of this show I did. It was a little show I did that was on a network called Nuvo. If you guys aren't familiar with the Nuvo network, that was the Latino, it was supposed to be a Latino network. It was supposed to be like the Latino version of BET. And it only lasted for a short while. But I had done a show for them called Latino 101, which was sort of like, if you remember Guy Code and Girl Code from MTV VH1, it was sort of in that vein. And so, but like it was this situation where I got there and they wanted me to be like stereotypically Mexican. And I'm not stereotypically Mexican, and I'm very clear with people about that. I don't speak Spanish. I didn't grow up in a poor household. I mean, like all the stuff that they want you to be when you're Latino, and more specifically Mexican, and you're doing a production like that, all that stuff, I'm just not that. And I'm not going to lie to you. And between the squirrel and the Amish, they had it coming. Yes, they did. And thank you for the super chat. I definitely do appreciate that, Leia. But yeah, the poor squirrel. But so I was doing the show. It was called Latino 101. And so I told them right away, like, because they started asking me these questions that I knew they wanted these stereotypical answers to, where they were like, so tell us about like Christmas. Did you celebrate the three wise men or did you do Santa Claus? And I was like, I'm from this country. I did Santa Claus like everybody else, and then they were like, so was it sad like around Christmas time? And I was like, why would Christmas time be sad? I got everything that I wanted. I had good parents, have good parents. So I don't know why Christmas would be sad. And I was like, are you looking for me to say that uh like all we had to unwrap was tamales, that kind of thing? Because I'm not your guy for that. And so then he asked me about like some sort of like just something that was really off the wall and crazy. And I just told him like, I'm probably not what you're looking for if you're going to continue on this vein. So he got it. And then he moved on to something that was more like regular. Cause I really did, like, I didn't lose it like in an unprofessional way, but I did get very clear with them that, like, I may not be the guy for this. If you're going to keep asking me these stupid questions and making it seem like I'm supposed to have this upbringing that I just didn't have, then I'm probably not your guy. And so then he was like, all right, don't leave, don't leave. And so I went on this roll with them Thank you, Rochelle, or Rachel. Rachel. Yeah, it's Rachel. Sorry about that. My eyes aren't the best, but thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Let's see. Um, how weird! It just held the message for review, and now I can't see it. Um, but this one I can see. I don't know why. YouTube, why not just let all the messages come through like they come through? Thank you for the comments on my hat. I've seen a couple of comments on that. I do appreciate it. Glad to have you, Sherry, for your first live. But okay, so here's what happens, right? I end up doing this show, Latino 101, and after they turned it around and they started talking about stuff that I actually cared about, then we had a lot of fun. Like I just like knocked it out of the park every question they asked me because I was being super fun. And after I let them have it, after I got what they wanted, let's go 10 minutes. So after I gave them after started being cool, then I started just giving them what they wanted, and then we were having a really really good time. So they wanted me to go to the premiere. So for the premiere, because it was after Obama had already like we were already in Obama's second term, like we were already firmly in it. And I wore a shirt that I had bought off of eBay for fun. I bought a shirt that was it was um McCain and Palin shirt. And like in my mind, it was really funny in an ironic sort of way because they had just lost. Yeah, maybe eventually I'll consider getting mods, but for right now, like, I really don't mind what happens in the chat. I mean, like, I wish that YouTube wouldn't filter my stuff, but it is what it is. So I just let it do what it does. But my thing is, like, I wore a shirt that was McCain and Palin because I thought, haha, funny, they lost, and I'm gonna wear this shirt to this premiere, and everybody's gonna think it's funny, and they're gonna think it's silly. And people got so mad at me, like they literally were like mad. Like nobody at the premiere would talk to me, and like if you ever watch that series, which like a fair amount of people did watch it, it did air. I killed it on that series. Like they put me on every single episode. Some people weren't on certain episodes. They put me on every single episode. Thank you for the membership. So I appreciate that. And so, so I was like one of the stars of that show, literally, and nobody would talk to me at the premiere because I was wearing this McCain Palin shirt, which had nothing to do with like it was just me literally thinking that everybody would get it and understand that it was a joke. And instead, it turned me into basically a pariah for the night. And that's like it wasn't like I just switched off like that and then that day I didn't wasn't like a Democrat anymore. I didn't like Obama after that. It wasn't that kind of situation. But it was the first time that I really got like, oh, okay, so these people aren't fun at all. Like they're really not cool about that. And like, that was still when I was newer to like Hollywood and doing stuff like that. And I like, didn't realize the way that that worked. And I thought that like everybody would have a good sense of humor and be fun. And then from there, it just became progressively worse, no pun intended, but it did become progressively worse, where it was just like nothing could ever be funny to these people. Nobody could even, oh shit. Nobody like, okay, so then we move on from there, right? And then there start to be more like gay and LGBT in general comedians, which I was so used to being the only LGBT comedian anywhere that I would go, because when I first started doing comedy in 2003, no LGBT comedians would go outside of like the gay bars or the gay clubs. You know, they would be like West Hollywood, Silver Lake, Los Feliz sometimes, but they wouldn't be at the actual regular bars and coffee houses and the other stuff that we did comedy at that time, especially when I was first starting off. So then I started going to like all the spots because I had stage fright, you know, and this was when I first started in 2003. And so for a long time, a lot of the comedians that weren't on a professional level thought that I was the only like, or I was the only gay comedian that they knew that actually went different places. And so um when others started showing up around 2010 is probably when the other LGBT comedians started actually showing up and, you know, being places and not just being hidden in the LGBT shows. Then I was very welcoming of everybody. Like I never found, um, let's see. I'll be real honest with you guys. If any bullshit comes through my feed, I just immediately hide you from the channel or I put you on timeout. So if anybody has anything negative to say, just understand that if I see it, you're just done on the chat. I don't really need you here. I'm not desperate for people to watch my stuff. So let me be very clear about that. But yeah, so the other LGBT comedians started showing up and I wasn't at all threatened, you know. Um I was welcoming of them, and I remember when I first started going to the regular shows and open mics that people would kind of lightweight try to bully me, and there was a point in the beginning where they really tried to bully me, and then eventually I had to snap, you know. And then once I snapped, and I did it in a way that was, even though it was bitchy, it was really fun. And uh, so it was super fun. And so I won them over. Like, and it took a while to win everybody over, but then like people just started like really being cool with me and stuff like that. And so by the time the other comedians showed up in 2010, the other LGBT comedians, I was very happy to see them. I was very welcoming of them. And in some cases, I would be protective of them, you know, especially like one in particular that I think of. They're a person that I don't even think does stand up anymore. And they came around and I didn't know what they were. Nobody knew what they were as far as like, is this a guy or a girl or, you know, and trans was still kind of new to the mainstream. To me, I had trans friends for already 20 years at that point. Um, but, you know, to a lot of people, but they didn't look trans by like the way that I was used to people looking trans, you know? And so it was just like this androgynous type look. But right away, I saw people were kind of starting to bully them. So I always made it a point to say hi to them so that everybody would know that I was cool with them. And then that would make people be like cooler with them as well. And so it was effective and people were very nice to them. And then once that person started getting attention, because right after that, that's when trans became like, you know, an accepted thing. And that person turned out to go through phases where they were a cross dresser for a while and identified as a cross dresser, and then moved from being a cross dresser into being like full on trans. And like, you know, people were being very accepting of them, very cool with them, and then they turned on me. And that's what happened with me and a lot of the LGBT comedians, is a lot of them really did turn on me. And I literally did pioneer the LA scene when it comes to stand-up comedy. And anybody that's been around for that long or remembers, you know, 2000 or was there in 2003 will tell you that. Like for a while, I was the only one that would actually go different places. And then once everything, like, you know, and then once those people came on, suddenly they were trying to get me canceled. And it was like, I was the one who kept you from getting bullied. How is it you're trying to get me canceled now? And so at that point, I just went ahead and like was fully and that didn't really have a lot to do with me initially voting for Donald Trump. In 2015, when I was like first got on the Trump train, because I was one of those people that like from the moment that he announced, I already knew. And then when they said the stuff about, what he had said about Mexicans, what people didn't understand and what happened this time around is that people like me in 2015, 2016, we would all like hear that he had said things about, like inflammatory things. And then instead of just listening to the inflammatory thing and judging just based off of that, we would go to YouTube and watch the full video of what he said. And then within the context, everything he said made sense and it wasn't particularly inflammatory. There are things he says to get people's attention, but there's a reason that Kamala spent, what was it, $1 billion that she spent or that she raised and spent, and now she's still $20 million short. Like, if a person's good at getting press and a person's good at getting attention and then doesn't have to pay for that, then that should tell you something about just some of the things that they say that are kind of like you can brush them off or you can take them seriously if you want to. But I'm not really one for taking people seriously all the time. Like, I roll with a lot of jokes, even when it comes to me. Like, if you notice, like, plenty of people will joke with me about my tattoos or my piercings and stuff like that. And I don't mind, but like, sometimes people try to be like a little bit snotty or whatever. And those people, I always feel like, okay, well, why don't you have a picture of yourself on your default so I can do the same with you? Because I'm pretty good at that. I'll hurt your little fat fucking feelings. Oh, I should watch my language. But I am good at that. So, and that's why, certain people just get blocked because I'm like, I'm not just going to have some egg talk crazy to me and not. um ARS, thank you very much. I appreciate your super chat. I've talked for a little bit, so I'll go through some of the what's it called, um and say hi. I need to start, yeah, at some point I'll get some moderators, and but yeah, I'm just seeing if there's anything that I need to answer here. The hat is from the Trump website. I don't love the company that he goes through. WinRed is the company that does the Trump hats, and they're terrible about communication. They're terrible about customer service, and they don't keep you updated because there's like my building uses a service for like mailing. Like if I have things delivered here, there's a service that my building uses. It's called Fetch, if you guys are familiar with Fetch or if you have it in your building. And they had left my Fetch code off. And so I was trying to get a hold of them, and they had me talk to like 6 different people, and none of them answered my question in the end. I just had to like hope that I got lucky um, and my stuff came in the way that it was supposed to. And it eventually did. But it also took forever, which was very frustrating because it was like, yeah, I want to make sure that it's here. Because, well, I bought 4 hats at that time. And then I have like, I don't know, 3 or 4 more. So I have a few of them. Low watermark, thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Did you just take a blast? What a stupid thing to ask. I don't do drugs. What are you talking about? Well, I don't mean to be rude if you mean the wacky tobacco, but no, but like in my world, that's not what a blast is. A blast is actually kind of an offensive thing to ask somebody if they took that. Because, hi from Katy, Texas. Hello, Katy, Texas. Oh, deleted that message. Let's see. Did you ask a question? Yeah, low watermark. I plan to do a few more lives, you know. I don't mind doing them. I think they're fun sometimes. Matthew Castillo, are you gay? Yes, I am gay. Everybody knows that. Catch up, buddy. Mm, that person can just get hidden from my channel all the way around. I don't need you around. Sorry, you guys. I should what's it called? I changing around my setup here. And so you know, I don't have my usually I get to be closer to my phone and you know, I wish I need to go into the settings and see if there's a way that I can just make it so YouTube doesn't filter any of my comments because that's so annoying to me. Like, I'd rather see whatever it is people are saying and just be able, because, like, a lot of the comments that it filters, it's like friends just saying something silly or something cool or whatever. And I don't know why YouTube does that, but it's very frustrating. Um, Shout out to John Podesta. Yeah, I don't like, you know, you guys, I'll be honest with you. Um, who's this person that I keep? Thank you, Dollface. Recently found your channel and binge watching your videos. Love your style and realness. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, I haven't seen that person that people are talking about yet on the chat that's acting stupid, but um do I know who John Podesta is? Like, do have I ever hung out with him, or am I um actively involved in his life anyway? Uh yeah, you know what? To tell you the truth, as far as conspiracy goes, because I know what you're talking about, but I'm not ever wasting my life going into any conspiracies. I just don't have the time. I'm not doing the research. And a lot of things that people say, like, do turn out to be true, but then a fair amount of them don't turn out to be true. So I don't really know what, you know, what people want me to pay attention with that when they're like, you know, do you know this or have you heard this? It's like, I don't really care. I mean, like, you know, I live my life and people are going to keep doing what they're doing anyway. Nobody's ever going to be like, you know, what I've learned in being in Hollywood, and I'll tell you guys this that I've known or that I've figured out is that every person, thank you, Kelly Williams. Let me see. Did you ever work with any of the Native American comedians like Howie Miller, Bon Eagle Bear, Larry Omaha, Charlie Hill? No to or yes to Larry Omaha, yes to Charlie Hill, but just briefly. And no on Howie Miller. I'm not familiar with him. Bon Eagle Bear, I'm not. J.R. Redwater was big around, you know, the scene when I was coming up, and that's a Native American comedian. And there's a Native comedian by the name of Wolf that is from Phoenix that I like him a lot. Um, I I like him a lot, and he's super funny. And I just worked with him not too long ago. And then, so as far as native comedians, like, not, I haven't worked with a lot of native comedians, but a few. But there's not a lot of native comedians that are circulating. Usually, once the native comedians get on, as they say, they will start working the casino circuit, and they'll make so much money on the casino circuit that you really don't see them doing any of the stuff that like a lot of us did coming up, you know, because once you're making that casino money, uh, you're not going to be hanging out with the normies, you know. Um, Brian Jones, what happened to your face? Did you get stuck in a riveting machine? When people post things like that, do they feel like that's original? Do they feel like nobody's told me any version of that? Like the other one I get is like you must hate the what's it called, machines at the airport, metal detectors, and it's like, does this all sound fresh to you guys, or like it's like a new, like when that pops in your head, does it feel like a smart thing to say? And I'm not even trying to be like silly, I'm really just trying to figure out like what it is that people think they're doing with those comments. It's like, can you at least say something original? I did a whole video on immigration. If you want to check it out, Ghost Gamer 2, it's actually on my channel, and it's one of the recorded like, it's not like a live. Are you black? Why would YouTube hide you asking if I'm black? Um, but no, I'm not black. I'm Mexican American. Let me see. Okay, got rid of that person too. Let me get rid of this person too, you guys. I'll be right back to talking in a second. I'm just getting rid of anything that I don't like, I get rid of. Like some of you guys make the mistake of thinking I'm one of those people that really just needs people around, and I'm not. I mean, like, if you get on my nerves, I'll just get rid of you because I don't need you here. And it's just not like life's too short. And some of you, like, if anybody said anything that was truly clever, I would have fun with it. But I'm not gonna, like, entertain something stupid. For the chat, if you want to see crazy chat posts, select live chat from the menu above the chat. The default is top chat, which filters a lot. I did not know that. The person that keeps asking if I'm gay, you're getting put in timeout now because you're dumb. Nobody cares. Like, gay isn't the center of my life. I talk about being gay, and I am gay, but like the people that are stuck on that, I feel like, what year is it for you? Because like you got to be trans to even move the needle at this point. Like if you're stuck on like, are you gay or you care about gay, you're clearly living pre 2000, maybe even five. Yeah, like 2003 was still kind of homophobic and weird, but I didn't really care. Loved you and Buck together. Yeah, me and Buck had a good time. If you guys get a chance, check that out. Um, 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 Let me see. All right, so now I'll just go to the new chats now because hi from Texas, Jessica Bryant. I am in Texas. I'm in Austin, Texas. Uh, but yeah, so I just don't really pay attention to a lot of things um when it comes to the conspiracies. When people ask me about that, I just don't I just don't know about a lot of that stuff. Because what I was gonna say about when you're in Hollywood, if you ever been in the entertainment industry, because I lived in Hollywood for 14 years and I was doing stand up the whole time, and the thing with that you learn about being in Hollywood is that everybody's a scumbag, and if they're not a scumbag, they're very closely associated with one. So when people were talking about like the Me Too movement, like I was like, I thought everybody knew all this was happening all the time. Why did everybody keep talking about the casting couch and accusing people of being, a product of the casting couch? Like that went all the way back to Marilyn Monroe days. So when people, act like surprised about these things, it really is like, it really is just like, I thought everybody knew that. I don't know why everybody Diddy. Everybody's been talking about Diddy forever, so I don't really know when it comes to Diddy why that would be an actual like, surprise to anybody. I mean, I get it if people want to actually do something about it now, but everybody knows he's been freaky. Everybody knows he's been like he's openly been cheating artist and been a bad guy, but nobody ever cared about that. So it's like, I don't really know what anybody wants. And, it's like, yeah, well, but like with a lot of these people, all that happens is eventually they just piss off the wrong person. That's what happens with the people that, that end up getting in trouble finally. Like, Ellen, I love Ellen personally, but I know that she's been hard to work with forever. Like that's been a fact, that's something everybody knows. But for some reason, she must have pissed off the wrong people, and then eventually that's why she got canceled. But like everybody knows these people are terrible. I called out somebody for harassing me at a point, and it was like it takes a real level of harassment to get my attention to piss me off. But and like I called that person out, and people got mad at me because they were friends with them and they didn't want to not be friends with them. So instead, everybody got mad at me like I was saying something wrong, and nobody accused me of lying. Nobody thought I was lying. They just didn't want me to say it because then they can't hang out with that person if they actually acknowledge that it is true or that it did happen. And so stuff like that happens with people like Diddy too. Like when it comes to Diddy, a lot of people wanted to go to those parties and they wanted to be where he was at because he was like the cool place to be. And so you think that these people weren't told about some of the terrible things he was doing and were just like, not my business. I want to go to this party on Memorial Day or whatever it is. Cause, Diddy would have parties that were like annual where it was just known that he was going to have a party on these particular days. And so you think these people are going to let something like morals and good conscience get in their way of going to one of the most sought after parties in Hollywood? No, they're going to go to the party. That's the way it works. Um, they're not gonna not go to the party because they heard that he might have been, putting hands on his girlfriend or whatever. And then also with those people, um, sometimes you feel like they're participants in whatever it is that's going on, like you don't know what the deal is with certain people, because I've known people that to the outside world, it would look like they were in an abusive relationship. To the outside world, to the naked eye, it would look like that. But that's the way their relationship worked, and they were both happy with it, and they were like, would make jokes about it. And it was just, like, and I'm not talking about physically, like usually it would just be verbal, but they would be so hard on each other and both sides, and you'd just be like, do they even like each other or what are they doing? And so some of it is that way too, like where you just shrug it off because you're like, I thought that that's just the way they joked or whatever, because, you know, I think of one couple, especially when I think about that, where it really, like, you can't tell if they're actually in an argument or if they're just being fun. But then I've talked to them separately, and they both really do love each other and they're both really happy with their relationship. So, that's what it is. Let's see. I'll see. Let me hide you from the channel because I don't need you. I don't entertain anything that's not entertaining. Maybe the casting couch isn't full of victims if you're willing to put out as a form. That's the other thing that that people don't get. Like, let's be honest for a second. Why has Charlize Theron never come out and said anything about Harvey Weinstein? Charlize Theron is without a doubt one of the most beautiful actresses to ever be in modern Hollywood, and she was in several Harvey Weinstein movies. Why is it she's never come out and said anything at all? You think somebody that beautiful he wouldn't bother trying to get at? You think that's where he drew the line? Oh no, Charlize Theron, I would never touch her. She's too precious. That's not the way Harvey Weinstein worked. And so, in my opinion, or my thinking would be that probably Charlize Theron was one of the people that was like, hey, I'm pretty. I want to do this. And if all I have to do is let this guy, have a go at me once, then I'm cool with that. Or maybe more than once. Who knows? Who cares? That's where some of it does get. And when people come after Oprah. I get it when people don't like Oprah or whatever. I don't think of anybody as being like above reproach. But like sometimes when people are like, yeah, Oprah was friends with Harvey Weinstein, how did she not know? Well, I would imagine that Oprah did a lot of minding her business to where she got to, because that's what you do have to do in Hollywood. And like I said, I navigated that for 14 years and like really was a lot of places that, I got to see a fair amount of stuff. And with the stuff that I saw or could have potentially saw, there was a lot of where you see something and it doesn't look right, and you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna go this way instead, because I don't know what these adults are doing, but they're doing it with each other and they look to be consenting adults. So I'm just gonna mind my own business, and I'm just gonna mind my own business. And maybe every once in a while you mind your own business and there is something shady going on, but you don't know because you're so used to minding your own business that you don't look twice or you don't like examine it. You just let life be life and assume that everybody's doing what they need to be doing, or everybody is expecting. Um, but yeah, so, I don't know. I just do my own thing. All right. Well, it's almost time for me to get out of here. Anybody have any questions before I get out of here? I appreciate you guys very much for tuning in tonight. I just came on to chat really quick. Yeah, like and subscribe if you guys get a chance. The art in my place is done by an artist from the Bay Area. His name is Andy, and he actually brainstem.com is the name of his website, and I think he still sells prints. I don't know how many like originals he has anymore, where like, because all my stuff from him is canvas, but I'm friends with him. I've known him for a long time, and so um but there was a point where he had just started selling the prints because he basically sold everything, all the canvas that he had, and now he just creates art for himself as like a side, not even a side business, just for his own whatever. And so you can check him out and see if he'll sell you some stuff. Jack Warner played his relationships with both Joan Crawford and Betty Davis against each other's performances got out of them. Yeah, that's the thing. Elon Musk and Vivek thing, I haven't really looked into it. I know that a lot's going on with that, but I haven't been paying attention, like the Matt Gates thing and all that stuff. I saw Rubio is going to be in some position, but I really haven't been able to pay attention to a lot of stuff lately. That's part of the reason I came on live too, is just to take a break because I've been editing so much. I've got more videos coming out. The video I put out today isn't doing that well, but that happens sometimes. It doesn't have a lot of views so far. If you guys get a chance, watch it. It's the one that's about that guy getting triggered over somebody referring to trans girls in women's sports as boys, and then the other guy lost it. It was on CNN. But yeah, so if you guys want to check that out, check that out. Love you too. Good night from Ireland. Good night. Where do you get this hat? Donald Trump's website, or you can go to Win Red. But I talked about that earlier. I didn't love Win Red. Glad you caught live too, Lyrical. I appreciate that. All right. So, yeah, if you can't look past terms like one. Oh, the light life. Love your videos. They have helped me feel confident about owning disillusionment with the QT woke. Yeah, yeah, no, I'm glad to hear that because that needs to, like, if you guys don't know, QT, obviously, the queer and trans part of um LGBTQ. Um, and yeah, as a society, we really do just need to put our foot down about that because that needs to stop. Like, the ridiculous part of it. Yeah, live your life, be you, express yourself however you want to express yourself. But when it comes to you trying to force whatever it is you're doing on all of us and expecting all of us to just go along with it and whatever else it is you're trying to do, yeah, I'm not a part of that at all, and I don't want to be a part of that, and I'm not feeding into it, and I'm not letting anybody tell me what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it, and police me in every way, like none of that. And so, yeah, I'm glad you got away from that because there's nothing wrong with just saying, yeah, I'm not doing any of that. Um, The question, what kind of trans clown is this? The one that's going to hide you from my channel. That's the kind of trans clown I am. So, got rid of you right away. You will not be on this channel anymore. You don't have to worry about it. Anyway, Carrie Colby just came out against children transitioning. I'm not sure who Carrie Colby is, but I'll look into it, and everybody should be against that. There's no reason. This is what I'll end on, and then I'll be out of here. I've got a full video coming out on it. Love you too, Leah. I appreciate you. But I've got a full video coming out on it in the next couple of days. But absolutely nobody should be transitioning kids for any reason at all. And I don't care if I don't care if you're the kind of person that's like, I know my child. The truth is, your child doesn't know your child. When you're a kid, you don't know who you are, you don't know what you're doing. So there's no reason to start any kind of permanent changes to anybody. If your kid wants to dress however they want to dress, allow that. Why not let them dress however they want to dress? But if they even want to go with the nickname and you're cool with that, then do that. That's fine too. But when it comes to any physical changes, anything at all, even chemical, like outside of, if your kid is bipolar or something like that and you need to do something about that, I get that. But when it comes to physical changes, don't do that. I'm very clear about that. Um, When I say kid, I mean 18, like, or until 18. Once you turn 18, you can do whatever you want. I personally, if I had a kid, I would try to talk them into waiting until they're 25 to do any changes at all. And even if even if my kid was completely straight and not at all part of the community and just wanted to say, like, get their nose done or something like that. And you can tell by looking at me, I've had enough stuff done myself. And so it's not like I'm against people doing things to themselves, but I really do feel like people should wait until they're 25, not only so that your brain is fully formed, but also because, like, if it's just cosmetic and it's not anything to do with trans or anything like that, I would tell people to wait, because a lot of times you notice that people will grow into themselves. Like, sometimes people will think they have a big nose, and even to the outside world, it'll look like they have a big nose, and then their head stops growing, or they grow into it, and suddenly it's like, oh yeah, your face makes perfect sense now, so why would you do anything to it? Let them do what they want after they've finished growing fully. That's what I would say. And so that's why people will try to say that I'm being transphobic when I say that, and I'm like, no, I just all the way around think that people shouldn't do things to themselves that would be permanent changes until they're 25, because then I'm very clear also about the fact that the age of consent in this country and the age of adulthood is 18. So if at 18 you want to do whatever you want to do to yourself, that is your choice at that point. So while, I or anybody else can offer somebody the advice of saying, you know, maybe consider waiting until you're 25, the truth is, once you're 18, you can do whatever you want. And then, I would never try to stop people from that. But yeah, I am out of here, you guys. South Central LA tomatoes. Love you too. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Um, Kelly Williams, I haven't heard anything about that in Denver yet, but the illegal gangs, yeah, that they need to go. It's time to deport people that aren't legal here. That's it. That's what it is. So, um, I appreciate you guys, and it is officially time for me to get out of here. Thank you so much. I will be doing another live. Yeah, hit like on the way out. Thanks for tuning in, low watermark. I will be doing another live on Thursday at 1:45 p.m. Austin time, which I believe is Central. I don't remember the name of my own time zone, but 1:45 p.m. Austin time. So if you guys want to check it out, that's going to be Thursday. I appreciate you guys. Everybody have a great night, and thank you for tuning in.